Am I the asshole for deciding to divorce after discovering that my wife had a tattoo of another man's name while I was away? My wife of 4 years got a tattoo recently with her best friend who has a very aggressive type of bone cancer. She didn't discuss it with me at all. I just did it while I was on a training mission. Came home Monday morning to her with his name tatted on her neck with a Pokemon. I have not returned home since I saw it. I have been sleeping in the barracks. I am honestly thinking about just filing for divorce. Am I wrong? Edit. I have heard from a few of my neighbors that she basically moved him in for the 6 weeks I was away on a training mission and left a few days before I returned. She is refusing to even discuss it. All she keeps saying is, it has nothing to do with me and her. Update 1. She was served divorce papers yesterday at our previous home together. She thought it would be a good idea to involve both our families without giving them a reason or context. I filed for divorce after I got home from my last training mission. So as the parents called, I told them about the tattoo and her moving him in while I was gone, and let them deal with her. Relevant comments op added in the comments. Spoke with my co about it. He said I should just let Jag handle the paperwork, and he will have me in a new duty station by Monday. He said a man can't live with that level of disrespect, and I agree with him. Comment 1. What did you say to her when you first saw it? And how did she react to you? Op. I asked her what she did, and she said I got a Pokemon tattoo and showed me. I saw his name on her neck, and I just went quiet and picked up my bags and walked back on base. Went and saw my co and had a drink with him. Comment 2. If my partner puts any other name on his body, then my kids, his family, or me, it's a problem. They could have done a tattoo without a name and on a place that isn't so out of the open. The tattoo on itself isn't an issue, but the name and place is. Op. Exactly. It hurts that she turned me down last year about getting matching tattoos to just get one with her Pokemon. Go buddy. But it's not the tattoo. Disrespect and disregard that. It's a constant symbol of. Update 2. Got all my ducks in a row, as they say. Sat down and spoke with my future ex-wife. She honestly expects me to just step aside and let her play house with her friend. Pause our marriage, wait till they are done, then continue our life together like nothing happened. I can't live with her plan, so I'm getting divorced. Wasted nearly 6 years on her, already not wasting any more of my life on her. Will be in my new duty station by the end of June. A fresh start, I hope, and put all this behind me. Relevant comments. How has his wife tried to reconcile? She has been endlessly trying to just communicate with me. After she failed to contact me personally, she went to our parents and siblings, and when that failed, she started contacting friends and people in my unit, spouses of people in my unit. She is absolutely relentless, and it's always the same bullshit about how this is just temporary, because he is not long for this earth. And I would do the same thing for a terminally sick friend. What does her family say about everything? No, they are not. At first, her parents came at me because all she told them was I left her out of the blue after returning from a training mission. I told the truth about how she got a neck tattoo with her friend's name and had him living in our house while I was on my training mission. Update 3. This morning, my commanding officer pulled me from a training flight to inform me of my wife's death and got me on a flight back to North Carolina. Should arrive at my parents' house in about 8 hours. A month ago, I filed for divorce and changed duty stations and cut her completely out of my life. I didn't want to hear how this thing with her friend James was temporary and how our marriage would go back. I am not suicidal or anything like that, but I am profoundly saddened. I keep thinking how 6 months ago we were happy and in love, and now she took her own life when I just didn't accept what. For a friend who was dying from cancer, I am riddled with self-doubt and blaming myself for her actions. Thinking about everything and our parents having been friends for decades, she is now dead in the water. Another victim of her delusion. I know these were all her choices for her death. I don't know if hell is real or not, but I hope James ends up there for what he has caused. Update 4. Had a meeting with the funeral home today. She already set most everything up and paid for it a little over a week ago. Memorial service at my in-laws' house on Wednesday. Her ashes will need to be picked up in a few days. I have a grief counseling session on Friday morning. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Did she ever admit to cheating? I might have missed it. Op. A week or so ago, my mother called me and confirmed she was almost 3 months pregnant, so that confirmed she was sleeping with him when I was away. Comment 2. Wait a sec. She was taking care of a friend with cancer. Shit over it, causing a divorce, and that plunged her probably into a depression and she took her life. Sounds like you were. Not so much her. Not exactly. She hit the pause button on our marriage so she could play house with him while I was on a training mission in California. Without informing me. Was pregnant with his child when I came back and wasn't going to tell me. If it wasn't for the stupid tattoo she got with his name, I might have fallen for it and slept with her, and she would have had me raise his child as my own. Comment 3. What a jerk. I'm so sorry. Now I think your wife committed suicide to join him in the other life. Probably both went to hell for their selfishness. I'm not sure if he has passed or not. Pretty much left and crawled under a. Comment 4. I was wondering if James was still alive. Did you say how your wife? How do I ask without sounding rude? Killed herself. Found out she wrote 10 letters to different people, including me. Then she emptied the medicine cabinet while her family was out. They came home, and she was in her bed and had passed away. Comment 5. What was the nature of her relationship with him? Was she giving him palliative care or having an affair with him? He was still active, as in up and around hell as of last week. He was still working at the card shop, I was told. So we'll say an affair. Story 2. Am I the asshole for refusing to share my only gluten-free plate with a pregnant friend, despite her cravings and emotional pleas at breakfast? Have a gluten allergy, which explains all of the stomach pains and aches I've had when trying to eat anything my whole life. Since finding out about, I've been making sure to avoid foods amounts of gluten, because even a small, and in some cases vomiting, I was invited out with some of my friends, and I let them know of the allergy so we could pick somewhere that actually had food I could eat. The place we settled on is a really high-end breakfast restaurant that has a whole separate kitchen, or at least a section of the kitchen, for preparing their food without gluten, which was a lifesaver, since had that not been the case, I would have needed to skip the restaurant entirely. Included in my friends was a got pregnant. We can call them Emma and Via. Via is the one who was pregnant and said she wouldn't be having much since she wasn't feeling very well due to the morning sickness. Everyone understood and let her just off their plates so she could still have something nice, even if it was just a little. I didn't agree to this though, since if they were going to be sharing with each other, I couldn't take part. Feeling okay sharing, since I'd just be giving. And all my friends seemed to completely understand, as well as agree that was very fair. When the food came out, everyone was sharing and having a good time. Via asked if she could have a bite of my food, and I politely declined sharing since I couldn't grab a different bite from anyone else. Via told me her pregnancy, and all she was asking for was a couple bites, so I should have just given that to her. I'd already explained I didn't want to share since my food was all I had. Just give her half and order more food amount left, and I again told them no. The gluten-free options were quite a bit more expensive than what they were eating, and paying for 2 plates just so Via could have half my food didn't seem fair. Because I was on a diet didn't mean I could be selfish. No issues sharing. Thankfully, the rest of the people sitting there did help me stand up for myself, and told Via I'd already explained I wouldn't be sharing since no one could share back, while I'd ordered an egg scramble. Free pancakes. Everyone else had normal pancakes, French toast, avocado toast, and other things I just couldn't eat. Via wasn't satisfied with their and my justification for why she couldn't have any of my food. She went on and on about how I'd turned the whole table against her and shamed her for being pregnant and hungry. I told her if she'd gotten her appetite back, she could always order herself a plate so she didn't need to rely on anyone sharing their food. Via went off at this and told me about all the things she's needed to pay for in preparation of her and Emma's baby. She told me I was being selfish and heartless because I didn't want to give her half my plate when I could afford to do so. This is where I may be the a-hole, because I told Via she chose to get pregnant, and she chose to go through all of the issues that come with it. I didn't choose to have a glucose allergy, and I didn't want to go hungry because she wanted to eat off everyone else for free. Via started ugly crying, and everyone tried to calm her down, but she and Emma ended up just leaving without paying their portion of the bill. No one blamed me since I was right, but Emma sent me a message telling me I could have just said no and left it at that, instead of embarrassing Via in front of all her friends. I'm starting to feel very guilty. I didn't want either of them to leave. I just wanted her to stop trying to leverage her pregnancy against me as a way to get the only food I could eat. Ada. Trying to answer some of the most answered questions. Yes. Emma did get a plate. She claimed it was too sweet for Via, and she should grab a less sweet bite of everyone else's plate. The reason it went from 1 bite to half my food, which was 1 pancake of my 2, was because she assumed my food was less sweet due to being gluten-free. I don't think that's the case, but that was just her logic. The group agreed we wouldn't be spending as much time with either Emma or Via. Ever since getting married, the two of their bitchiness aspects have combined and multiplied. We also did send them a Venmo request for their part of the bill. They've been told they can either pay the bill or they can never come out to eat with us again.